Hey Jim, Rick, and the AV board. I'm so excited to connect with you today to explore how we could take sales in the Chicagoland region from 0 to 10 million over the next 3 to 5 years. I'm really excited about the opportunity to partner with you all as I've experienced amazing benefits of working with you during my time in Johnson & Johnson, and I'm really excited to help. So, the first thing I want to do is just explore how we can close some gaps. I know that there may be questions you have around like what would it take or what will it take to establish a sales pipeline in the region to connect with executive leaderships, to start closing silver contracts, to start getting up towards gold and platinum. And I'd like to provide a little bit more clarity on some of the next steps necessary, in my opinion, to actually go from completely cold to warm and thriving word of mouth referrals in the region. Next question that I'll take down is what is the probability of success? Because the reality is going to have to financially invest in this market in order to take the market. The market will not take itself. So I want to have some transparent conversations on what I think the probability of success is across multiple stages of building out sales in the region. So we'll do that. Additionally, I want to answer the question of how long will it take? And with any, pitch or bid, there's different timelines we could work under, which will have different trade-offs with when revenue is realized and how much you invest up front to accelerate. But overall, I plan on sharing kind of the nominal best case strategy is what I've crafted here. And then we could figure out how to either extend it based on budget constraints or how to accelerate it if you really want to go after this. And the third piece, or fourth piece, is what will it cost? So I know that Jim's already been in discussions with you around what it would look like to bring me on full time. And instead, we could look at what it would cost if I bid this job piece by piece, and then we could figure out how to move forward from there. So, a roadmap for the discussion today to answer those questions. The first one's just a fun piece that I'm excited about. It's actually my first sales gig at. So I've been selling your products internally to J&J for quite some time, and I have a little video to share with you in case some of you haven't seen it, which should be fun. The next step is I'd like to confirm my understanding of current state. So I've had a lot of conversations with Laura, with Jim, lots of research with the business, conversations with historically to try to understand where you are and where you're going and what challenges you have in reaching MedTech Chicago. So I want to confirm that I actually have the picture correctly before we figure out how to iterate and move forward from there. The next one is we will pitch a 4-year plan to go from 0 to 100 million. Yeah, that's pretty simple. We'll do a pitch. And then the final part, which is going to be super nerdy, but hopefully if you have any bean counters on the call, this will be very helpful, is we're going to do an ENPV analysis. And if you're not familiar with this tool or how it's leveraged, I'll explain it. But you basically want to look at, this is time and money, how much you have to invest over a certain amount of time before you see that return on investment or that hockey stick. So let's jump into it. I want to first share my first sales gig at. So let me pull up a video and this should be fun. Let's see, magic transition. There we go. Here's the video and enjoy Joe from Japan. Maybe. Project Alakazam, which is a collaborative digital ethnography system for continuity of regional insights. Basically, what Alakazam does is we leverage we could teleport members of R&D directly into so they could do surgical observations, which we call ethnography. It creates a living history of anything we're seeing in the OR so that we can start to accelerate and prioritize different innovation efforts based on what we're seeing in different regions. So I will pause it there. This was the most amazing project I've ever worked on in my life. It was an incredible partner to take this from white paper to minimally viable product over the course of just over a year. J&J invested over in this platform. I can't remember the exact quote, and we're targeting worth of investment as I was pitching this to different directors, VPs across multiple opcos, as well as 2 company group chairmen. And we had different challenges with organizational constraints within J&J that actually I spent countless hours scripting and recording this in a mixed reality setting to pitch the value prop of what you all had worked incredibly hard on concerning this digital ethnography platform. It's a remarkable piece of technology, and I'm excited to. It's another conversation. But it was the first time that I was actually selling the work of your hands to a client, which would be Johnson and Johnson. And I loved this process. I love telling the stories of what you're capable of. In the video, I highlight like all the great work that we did with requirements development and all the iterations. I won't get to all that right now. But this is why I'm so energized about partnering with you in the Chicagoland region for Abbott, AbbVie, Baxter, Medline, GE Healthcare, as well as any other medtech startups that exist. You all do incredible, remarkable work, and it's easy to sell once we built the process. The work you do is phenomenal. So I just want to highlight this. I appreciate this. And this was a remarkable opportunity to get to sell the great works of your hands. So the next thing I want to jump into, let me change my screens. Hopefully that's fun, is we're going to go into confirming my understanding. So we're not going to touch this because I already recorded a bit about this and shared this with Jim. But what we've established is that the market is completely cold. Besides moving into Baxter leadership, you have almost zero footprint in the region. Yet there's billions of dollars worth of R&D being spent across these 4 or these 5. I mean, AbbVie's a monster. I've applied to multiple jobs at AbbVie, and it would be really fun to get a foot in the door there. They're doing a lot with combo tech as well, like injection of pharmaceuticals. Baxter's huge. I applied there as well. So I'd be really excited to explore how we could actually create a process to move prospective companies and prospective prospects within a company from cold all the way to hot. And that's what we're going to dig a little deeper in today. So I want to explore what I believe your current state is. And the assumption I'm going to make in this diagram that we're going to draw together, there's 2 of them. The first of which is that the majority of your work comes through word of mouth referrals from incredible work you've already done. Your sales process is very rapport based and relationship based. You do great work. And then when these people move to a new company, they take the reputation with them. And that's how you win new markets. I don't know how, for instance, you ended up at, I don't know if someone from J&J went at a warm lead that got that market. But the case study that I've continued to hear from you all is that you just do exceptional work with the people you have. You embed a technical accounts manager there, and then you just keep building out from silver to gold to platinum within different organizations. So let's walk through how you do sales today. So here's a happy person. Let's pretend this is, for instance, this individual you serve for 5 to 10 years, to exaggerate a little bit. And they then ascend to executive leadership over 5 to 10 years. Let's draw a nice line over here. And then after a certain amount of time, so you worked, and then that individual moves from J&J to Baxter. And then you'll have a series of calls and lunch. Oop, 1 second, I got to be a dad. All right, I'm back. Baby girl needed an orange. So from this point, you have a series of calls with them, and then you're going to start to bid some work within a new organization like Baxter to do reputation building IRL. So this is on the pathway towards eventually becoming a silver client. And if you do good work, then you're going to start to build a good reputation. And then you're going to start to get some warm connections within that organization because other partners on the team helped, right? Connections. And that'll lead to some future work. And then eventually you stack that enough times over a long time horizon, and this becomes financially viable, right? And then you plant a technical account manager. There's a lot of vulnerabilities in this strategy. So I've actually connected with a lot of Skool community owners. I have a community of 132 people on Skool that's free, and it naturally ascends folks into a paid offer. So I have 7 people in that paid community, and I'm partnered with a lot of people that are doing between 10 and 40K MMR monthly recurring revenue on the platform. And when I shared how you all do sales with some of them, the way that you move someone from cold to warm, like the lead times, they're killer. Like it was almost unfathomable. And I don't mean this in any disrespect. It was unfathomable to some of my friends who are building online businesses that are thriving and financially viable, where they could bring someone in with a paid ad. They provide them a piece of value. They provide them a little bit more context of vulnerability. Did I forget to write the rest of it? And then they have to close them and get them up into paid. This like 5 to 10 year strategy of someone eventually moves companies and then you win a new company doesn't make any sense to a lot of my friends. The other challenge with it is you have huge key man or key woman risks. Like this is a massive risk. In the event that was at J&J and leaves, and that was your large umbrella like advocate for working with you, you don't have any discoverability within the organization if that person leaves because you have no digital footprint to bring people into proximity with what you do. Additionally, if, say, Dan or other team members who are doing account management and doing all the handshaking at different levels, if they leave, then you also lose all that personal capital, which is a huge risk in your strategy. So you have key man risk, which is massive. And the other challenge is that you are only doing IRL in real life rapport building, which is really like that strategy has taken you to where you are today, but to continue to thrive in a digital world where people find clients across a global context to decide where to move forward, you're actually limiting yourself from having access to higher paying clients and larger contracts because you can only do it face to face, is at least my perspective. So let's move into a potential ideal future state. And this future state is built upon this idea of forming something that I would call planet. And this concept of planets built upon this theory called 7-11-4, which is often coined by someone named Daniel Priestley, which I follow a lot of his sales methodologies. And it's the idea for anyone to move forward with you and pay for your services, they typically need to have around 7 hours worth of interactions with you, whether it's consuming content, watching a podcast, having a series of coffees with you to really understand where you could provide value to them. Additionally, they'll typically need around 11 small touch points, checking in, multiple DMs, coffee day, you coming to visit them in the office, demoing the tech, like lots of little touch. And then typically over 4 locations. So a beautiful example of this would be like they see your content in short form, they click on a longer form video. This then leads them to a paid community where they can interact with you. And then from there, they join a webinar to hear more about your services in depth. Those are 4 locations. And then they decide to move forward. So what we want to pretend, or what we want to build here, is an orbit. So here you have a new client at a company. What we want to create is a gravitational force that slowly, well, not slowly. I should never use the word slow in a pitch. That quickly accelerates how fast it pulls them into orbit to planet K. And I'm going to walk through the different touches you can have across 7-11-4 with a potential client so that you could actually bring more clients at scale into Kinetic Vision. So you'll have more leads, they're highly qualified, and ideally they'll close at higher level contracts because of this methodology. So where we start, because we're at 0 and because you have no content creation yet, is a DM cold outreach. And my volumes are very high at this. I use a tool called Loom, which allows me to do asynchronous video recordings. In the last 2 months, I've done 2,500 Loom videos to build rapport, do cold outreach, and move people towards warmth. It is the fastest way to build connection because over video you have authenticity, trust is built, and it's giving you touch towards a longer, a higher probability of actually saying yes to something. From there, we would want to move towards like this influencer value. So what I mean by that is, let's say I've done some cold outreach, they decide to connect with me over LinkedIn, and then they're going to start to get some organic content. And it's not going to be branded as KV. Like the content I make across engineering, global leadership, medtech, fatherhood, it's interesting, it's valuable, it's adjacent to what you do, but it's going to bring them into orbit with me because I have a large digital footprint. I've done over 2,000 videos, 20 million views, and I have a following of 40,000. I'm getting connections on LinkedIn every day. I'm going to have to steer that strategically towards the Chicagoland medtech region, which is doable. So you're doing influence marketing through me initially. But then where we want to get people to is a personalized invite to Skool medtech, which I would build. And Skool medtech would not be branded. It would be connected with me. I would be curating that space. I would potentially bring a community manager in as a partner to help interconnect members in that group. That's another conversation. And then from there, we would start to hit them with some retargeting ads. So as I start to do content creation and things connect or start to hit off well, when I talk about, hey, I have this community for anyone interested in medtech, whether they're in quality, senior leadership, like start to connect medtech passionate folks into this space, we could hit them with a retargeting ad to join the community. And we could even bring it back earlier in this process. So I could start to track when people are engaged in my content, see which content does well, turn that into a targeted ad, and then re-invite people into Skool medtech or drive them downstream towards a digital coffee. So in this community, we could have networking sessions where people could connect. We'll do Zoom breakout rooms around different topics. This is still unbranded. It's just medtech. But I would always open the session for 5 minutes and just say, hey, I'm so glad you're here. I decided to build this space because I'm passionate about medtech. This session is also sponsored by, we'll be having a webinar on Tuesday. We do it each week just to share advances in technology that we're pushing forward. If that's of value to you, feel free to reach out with a DM, but I'm really excited for you all to connect and then let them connect. So again, it's a light touch point because I'm giving them value of let medtech people interconnect with one another around given topics, but also funnel them into the 1 hour webinar, right? So from there, we would also hit them with a weekly newsletter. This is Digital Marketing Friends newsletter. It's all the pieces got to work together. And from there, that webinar would push towards a branded webinar hosted by me. And then eventually this would drive towards exploratory work. So this is where we would actually close folks, bid out different jobs. And as that work goes well, we would get testimonials to kick back into the webinar. Additionally, this could lead to some IRL coffee, potentially before that work gets kicked off to kind of close deals. And then we're going to keep going around the spiral. There's going to be more coffee. I say all this because I hate coffee. My wife likes it. I'm naturally caffeinated. And then from here, we'd get into key partnerships. So after you've done multiple work with each other, you would then get into these partnerships that are strategic. You'd start ascending from silver to gold to platinum. You'd be building trust. You'd start getting some massive testimonials in the Chicagoland area. Testimonials. And then all of this is going to build deep trust with your brand and affinity to your brand. And this is going to go back out into orbit as digital word of mouth. And then you're going to start to bring more and more friends into orbit with KB at scale. So some opportunities with this, which are different than the vulnerabilities of your prior method. Opportunities. And I hope this is interesting, friends. I know we're going kind of deep. Is the first piece is you're building out this, again, planet. And what's beautiful about this is the brand will get more and more strength and visibility, and you get a lot of these self-fulfilling virtual loops that feed each other. The community keeps bringing people in through word of mouth. People can forward the newsletters to other colleagues. When they're getting the testimonials and the results, they're going to tell their friends. And then eventually you get to start to do like in-house demos, just like you do at J&J. You get to do the same thing in Chicago, but you have to start digital because that's where the people are until you figure out how to go IRL with them. The other area of strength with this that you're not currently doing is you get one-to-many through digital influence. Like if we open up my community right now for a second, this is a quick detour. Again, I'm going deep because I think you're all serious about this. Okay, so let's re-record this because I messed up this part. So when I talk about one-to-many, I want to show you how things are working within my community and some of the analytics I'm tracking, which allow me to have a scalable digital reach to then drive or ascend customers vertically to my paid offer. So again, I'm at 133 members thus far. And if we jump into settings really quick, I can see how many people visit my about page every 7 days, what the conversion rate is. So when they see the copy I've written in my VSL, which is my video sales letter, what percentage are converting into this group. We could do the same thing for Skool MedTech. And what's neat is for those individuals that join, I can track where they come from. So I know you care about word of mouth referrals. So do I. I can see that Serenity came from Heather. I can see that Ben came from Karen. So this allows us to see how members of Chicago MedTech are bringing their own friends and colleagues, and then I can back connect it with LinkedIn through a CRM. So I can start to get all of the information together between this community and LinkedIn traffic as well. One of the neat things about this platform is that it also has a map. So you can quickly see where everyone in your community is. Right now I have very limited presence in the Chicagoland area, but eventually we could grow out Skool MedTech to really have deep penetration right here, which is where it all is. AbbVie, Medline, Baxter, they're all within like 30 miles of each other. And then from an analytics perspective, the other fun thing about this platform is that there's discovery involved with it. So every day I'm tracking my metrics. Right now I'm up to 69% of members are active within the community. I could look at daily activities happening. Like there's 341 activities this day, 196. So basically as you hit 225, as you have more daily activities in the community, if it's growing, like people are joining, they're engaging, and they're retained, they don't leave, then the platform itself will push you out and your community gets discovered and then people can convert. So my discovery ranking for personal self-improvement has gone from 520 to 287, which is I'm better than 50% of the communities that were ahead of me a few months ago. So it's possible to do the same thing on this platform where you'll have discovery in Skool, you'll have discovery through cold traffic from LinkedIn as well. And when I do engagement in my group, I can do one-to-many. So I'll do a post that goes out to many people. I can do a calendar and have different events to bring people into. So it allows you to have this scalable rapport building that you can't do through in person. And I'm not at the stage where I'm at like 99 plus notifications every day and DMs that are fun and challenging to keep up with as people ascend. We could build the same structure for a sales funnel. So let me hop back to the tablet. Let me press all the right buttons here. There we go. So third opportunity with this is personalized engagement. Like we don't like salesy things. We can all feel that pressure and that uckiness. But if something's valuable for us, we're really excited to have a conversation. And if we could solve problems in different R&D organizations, those individuals are so excited to move forward with us. So what's beautiful about creating this universe, this gravitational pull towards Planet KV, is you're creating value and giving value away through interconnecting medtech people and through connecting them with me and my brand, and then bringing them gently into proximity with yours, that they're really excited to build those personal connections with me across a wide range of one-to-many contexts. And then from there, it's very personalized from an engagement perspective. So I like to balance digital one-to-many with very deep one-on-one. And that's why I do asynchronous videos for closing clients. And the final piece is this creates a really robust digital ecosystem. And the reason this is so important to build is because it eliminates the key man risk of me. Like, the reality is, you don't know how long we'll partner together. I'm hoping for a long time because I love what you're all doing. But I want to build this structure in such a way that you could then have other people come into these pieces, whether it's the cold outreach process with DM setting, whether it's individuals that are actually key account managers in the region once those accounts exist. And because you have a community that you're curating, anyone can drive traffic to a community, anyone can nurture it, and anyone can lead them into the webinars. Anyone can host those. I don't have to do that forever. So when we build the process to move clients around orbit, then anyone can do it in the region and it's sustainable. And this can scale beyond Chicago, which is another conversation. All right. So I think I have one more sheet to get into. Yeah, this will be fun. So this is the risk adjusted EMPV decision tree analysis. Hey, it's Joe from the future, and I know you're super excited about the risk-adjusted EMPV decision tree analysis, but it's too technical and too proprietary to actually share what would occur in these 4 key stages of collaboration with unknown company. I'm still in discussions with this company. I'm really hopeful for where this bid will land, even though there's naturally negotiations and adjustments that happen in scope. But I have 2, well, maybe 3 calls to action for you if you found this valuable, whether you're coming from YouTube or my LinkedIn audience. First of which, if you are an innovator in the medtech spaces and a community like this would be valuable for you just to connect with other leaders in medtech, please let me know in the comments, send me a DM, because I would like to build some kind of wait list to gauge interest in this methodology. So that'd be a huge help to me. Number 2, if you are a small business owner or working in a larger industry where you believe in the value of interconnecting a community around your product offering, creating that planet, insert business name here, I would be happy to scope something out with you to explore how you build something like this strategically, what level of investment's necessary on the front end to actually get it off the ground. And I've been on this platform of Skool for over a year now at this point, and I've learned through the failure and the pain to actually figure out what works and how you build this. I've also done content creation for half a decade as well. So I'd be happy to connect, let me know on that front. And the third piece, if you are a left brain person, like an engineer or a global leader, right brain person, the creatives and community builders, or a whole brain person, a parent or entrepreneur, then the Big Brain Club might be best for you. So this is a free community I'm building where I help folks establish what their next looks like, and I give them a free assessment so they can figure out where they're at, where they want to go, why they want that change in their life, what they're afraid of, and then the community wraps around them and pushes them forward. So if you're interested in an eclectic, diverse, odd group of 144 big brains now at this point, there's a link in the bio of the YouTube video, or on LinkedIn, there'll be a link as well. But appreciate you, friends. Thank you for being a part of my entrepreneurial journey over the last year as I've moved 15 times in the last 3 years with 4 kids and going from Tokyo to Chicago in this full life restart. And I appreciate you. So keep changing the world. You can sip on that, and I'll see you on the next one.